Vauban's Retouch is here, and today I'm going to be going over each and every little bit of it to make sure you can enjoy as much of it as you can alongside his new Heirloom Skin. How to acquire Vauban is pretty simple. You'll get his main blueprint from the market for 35,000 credits, and you'll get his 3 components, Neuroptic chassis and systems, in the Nightwave credit offerings for 25 Nightwave credits each. Or you can get him from the various circuit if you don't need the other 2 warframes available. But Vauban is relatively easy warframe to obtain. Regular wise, Vauban Prime on the other hand is a whole nother story. You can get his blueprint from Meso V6, Axie F1, Neo V2, Lilith F2, chassis from Axie V1, Lilith V4, Meso V4, Neo V6, and Neo A4. Neuroptics from Lilith V7, Meso N7, Meso V8, Neo V3, Neo V5. Systems from Lilith V2, Lilith V8, Lilith V9, and Neo N2. But even after you grind all the prime parts for Vauban Prime, you still gotta go through the hurdle. It's a 7,000 Oxium. Horrible. For our Archon shards, we'll be going with 2 Tau Force Reds, 2 for ability duration, 2 for ability strength, and an Amber Archon shard for casting speed. Alright, let's go over the changes to his passive and his abilities. Starting off with Vauban's passive. He deals 25% extra damage against incapacitated enemies. This includes stuff like stuns, lifts, knockdowns, being frozen, and as of this retouch, the electric procs from his Tesla Nervos also trigger his passive. Vauban's first ability is Tesla Nervos, as previously mentioned. You toss out some little roller drones that attach themselves to enemies, dealing electricity status in that little immediate area. And thanks to the retouch, Tesla Nervos actually got buffed because its status chance now scales with ability strength. Their AI has also improved. They will spread out more when attaching enemies, not go after unreachable units. Indeed, you fix the fact that they can target ragdoll enemies inside your Bastille. Not gonna lie, I didn't know that was a thing before, but you learn. Vauban's second ability is Mine Layer. You used to cycle through 4 deployable mines, but now they've merged the 4 mines into 2 separate ones. On one hand, we have the Tether Fleche Orb, and on the other hand, we have the Vector Overdrive Pad. Overall, this just makes it much more convenient. They also changed the casting of Mine Layer to tap and hold mechanic. Tap for Tether Fleche, hold for Vector Overdrive. Ability 3 is Photon Strike, where you throw out a targeting beacon that drops an orbital strike, which its range and damage got buffed, but it also does more damage to enemies with Overguard. And moving on to the bread and butter of Vauban, his Bastille, where you throw out a field that suspends enemies and strips their armor, in which then you can hold to collapse it into a vortex, which groups all the enemies together, giving you a nice little grouping ability. In my opinion, this ability got the biggest buff out of this update, because for one, they removed the enemy cap on how many enemies Bastille can hold, and 2, enemy armor strip applies to all enemies in Bastille's range, not just those suspended in the Bastille itself. Alright, starting off with the builds, we are going to start with the beginner build. We have Intensify for more ability strength, got more ability duration with Continuity and Augur Message, get some ability range from Stretch and Augur Reach. Also, Augur Reach and Augur Message will give us that nice 80% energy spent on abilities. It's converted to shields, which will give you a little bit more survivability. Which also another reason we're going for Redirection for survivability, Flow for energy economy, and Equilibrium, which you will get once you complete the teacher. The defense build I have prepared for you is perfect for those standing still missions, or for periodic ones like mobile defense or disruption. Mostly focus on upping your Bastille with Precision Intensify, Blind Rage, Prime Continuity for all the ability strength and duration that you're ever going to need. Also, let's not forget ability range with Archon Stretch and Overextended. Also, Archon Stretch is going to help with our energy economy along with Arcane Energize. Well augmented for even more ability strength. All the builds are going to have Prime Sure Footed just for the resist knockdown for survivability. And Adaptation and Prime Redirection are also for survivability. We will be getting rid of Photon Strike and replacing it with Breach Surge as our Hemoth ability, giving us more damage multiplier and status chance. Alright, moving on to the Gunner build. I'm going to start off with the Hemoth ability being Roar, just for the multiplicative damage increase. Other than that, everything else is relatively the same as our defense one, except we have Augur Reach instead of Overextended because we need that ability strength for Roar. We have Combat Discipline in the Aura slot to activate Arcane Avenger. Arcane Acceleration for primary weapon usage, that's just my personal take. I almost forgot to mention we also won't be using Precision Intensify, we'll be using Umbral Intensify, just because Precision Intensify only boosts up our Bastille and doesn't provide any bonuses to our Roar, Mind Layer, or even our Tesla Nervos. And for our last build today, I have made a Photon/Tesla based nuke with growing power in the Aura slot, also accompanied by Molt Augment for even more ability strength. We are going full ability strength, 328 ability strength in total with everything added, including Umbral Intensify and Blind Rage. We have the Augment Photon Repeater. If a Photon Strike hits at least 5 enemies, the next cast will cost no energy and fire 2 additional strikes. Absolutely needed for this build. We have Prime Equilibrium and Arcane Energize for the energy economy because we will be spamming out Photon Strike quite a bit along with Bastille. And with this build, I didn't really see a place to put a Hemoth ability. If you don't deem one of these worthy to keep, go ahead and put on Roar or some other Hemoth ability you think will work good, like Nourish. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe, it'd help me out so much with the YouTube algorithm. I'm still getting a feel for these videos, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me down in the comments. I will read them and I will gladly take note. But I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.